And away we go. It's chicken dinner Thursday night. Games are flying. Lions are bouncing. And we're here to talk football with you. Sam Paniatovich at SP Shoot. This show sponsored by footballcontest.com. You know, there's a lot of things to decide in Vegas when you go there and sign up for contests. A lot of proxies are popping up left and right. I think Maddie and Tony are the best, though. Footballcontest.com, serving Las Vegas contest players for 20 years. Hit them up if you're going to Vegas. You got another weekend, a full weekend without the NFL, and you have to be signed up for any Survivor, any Pick 5, and Maddie and Tony are your people. Footballcontest.com, the gold standard proxy service. What's up? I wanted to show you guys, after I show you footballcontest.com, I wanted to show you what makes my heart warm, and that is this right here. Look at how beautiful this is. Live lines moving. We got scores over here. I got my games for the week marked. This is what it's all about. And I know a lot of you are like me. You've got friends that bet. You might not talk to them as much as you do during football season. We all have football friends, right? Or betting buddies, if you will. And while some of these text messages or threads may go dormant during the summer, people start to get that itch and hit you up. Hey, what are you thinking? What do you know? What do you like? It's the best time of the year. Look at this thing lighting up like a Christmas tree. South Florida pulling the upset right now, about the half. Second quarter there, a minute to go. South Florida 10, Boise State 7, and then Rutgers and Ohio, surprisingly, in a nice battle so far, 17-14 Rutgers. We're going to talk about plenty of NFL today, though, with Ryan Kramer and Sean Green from the Sports Gambling Podcast. Those guys are electric. And I've been doing content with them for a few years. It's really time to empty the clip, because by the time we do this show next week, we're going to be ready to roll into week one games. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of share future bets we've made, whether it be on a team, on a player, if you like a coaching market, if you're looking for a market on Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. We're going to empty the clip with those guys. That's the way it should be. Get you ready for the test that is the NFL season. And I have a handful of future bets that we've talked about, whether it be Omari and Hampton or Christian McCaffrey or Jonathan Grenard. I've got future bets on Buffalo to win the Super Bowl, San Francisco to win the NFC, the Vikings to make the playoffs is probably my favorite bet in the NFL right now. We'll discuss. You know where my bread is buttered. I want to see what Ryan and Sean like. And before we do anything else, I'm actually curious who you like. So if you want to share your messages in the chat here, I see my P1s, good fella, chicken time, hashtag South Florida. He's in the chat. Alex B. Smith in the chat. Sick in bed. At least we got college football and chicken dinner, hashtag Bach. And Titan CT, evening, folks. I'm curious, if you're watching live on YouTube or X, share your favorite NFL bet in the chat, and we'll pop them up on the screen. It's so wild. I've always used, when I first started talking about betting in Chicago, WGN Radio was the place that was my home for a long time. And I had to explain betting to people that didn't bet. They were talk hosts for the most part. They didn't understand point spreads, totals, any of that stuff. And when they started to get sports books to enter the state, they had to now talk about sports betting. So your afternoon host that did 12 to 3 had to download an app and talk about sports betting. And they had no idea. It might as well have been rocket science to them. So what they had to do was bring somebody on that actually knew what -3 and +3 went. You'd think it'd be more simple to understand for the average bear, but it's not. And I always use my favorite analogy to explain why we can bet on so many things is because that's more ways for the sports book to take your action. And I used to use this analogy called the cereal analogy. If you go to the store and want to buy cereal, and there's only 2 kinds of cereal, there's a good chance that you might just breeze right through and not get anything. But the best cereal aisles are the ones that are fucking stocked with cereal. All kinds. Fruit Loops, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Golden Grahams, Reese's Puffs, Rice Krispies, whatever. Go down the line. Honey Nut Cheerios, Apple Jacks. Oh, well, I haven't had Apple Jacks in a while. I'll take that. That's what we have now coming into an NFL season. We have so many things to bet. And it's very difficult as somebody that does content to try and shape it to where I'm not giving out a million bets. And that's my challenge to you. Think about what your favorite future bet is. If you had to leave the grocery store with only one box of cereal, which one is it this year? Which one are you taking? You taking a week 1 game? You taking a player prop? You like a receiving yardage over? Is it a team to win a conference, win a Super Bowl? What is it? Very curious to hear what people like today. Very curious. This show had a pretty nice rundown, and then Micah Parsons got traded to Green Bay. Packers are now, if you don't know, basically favored to win the NFC North everywhere. Got BetMGM right here for you, plus 170. I wouldn't say consensus because there's still a book that has the Lions on line 1. But of a lot of the heavy hitters, BetMGM, Circa, DraftKings, FanDuel, the Westgate in Vegas, they saw this move and immediately put Green Bay on line 1. And it's wild. I wasn't ever thinking about betting the Packers to win the North. It wasn't my team. You must seriously consider them now. I'm not saying run to the window, log into the app, and pop the Packers at plus 170. But I think this acquisition of Micah Parsons makes them a legit contender. And that's not a hot take or anything. But I don't want to bet plus 170. I was thinking about going a little bit north. And maybe I was wrong about the Packers. Maybe they are a legit threat to make it to a Super Bowl. I haven't bet it. I'm not chasing it. But you look at the pecking order right now. Look at this right here. NFC Championship. Philadelphia line 1, plus 350. Detroit and Green Bay, co-second favorites. Boom, boom. Both plus 650. Yeah, I would hope that you wouldn't let me parlay the Lions and the Packers to win the NFC. That would be crazy if you let me do that. Thank you for the disclaimer there. But we have to have this conversation because the biggest issue Green Bay's defense had was getting to the quarterback. And now they have the best defensive player in the NFC. I'm sorry. You can have Hutch. I'll take Micah Parsons. The Dallas Cowboys, since getting Micah Parsons 5 years ago, have been the number 1 team in the NFL at pressure rate on defense. And now you have a Packers team that drops Micah Parsons off the edge. They're going to stop the run, and now they're going to get to the quarterback. And if their quarterback, Jordan Love, can take the next step with a room of receivers that have a bunch of potential, maybe we should be talking about Green Bay. Here I am on San Francisco. I got 10-1. BetMGM has 9-1 right now on the Niners. And we'll talk about future bets and everything with the guys from the SGP. But that's a crazy move. And you know what's even more interesting? I know there's a lot of Bears hype right now. I'm a Chicago kid. All my friends are blowing up the group threads all summer long. Chicago this, Chicago that, Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. Look at the market. Not only did they knock the Packers on line 1 and push them up, books are dropping the Bears. If you double the Vikings price, you're right around the Bears price. Bears 6-1 or higher. Just be careful betting a lot of money on the Bears this year. On top of the fact that they've gone over the win total 1 time in the last 12 seasons. 1-11 to the over since letting Lovie Smith go. You don't know what you got till it's gone. But that's a huge move. And the Packers have to be in the team photo now for teams to make the Super Bowl. From a very top-heavy NFC. Big move. Big move. I see my guests are starting to roll in here, so I'm going to get to them in a second. I'm very excited, though, to announce this. And the first edition will come out tomorrow. The tip sheet. I've been doing stuff like this for a while. I don't think a lot of companies really know how to handle it, though. And the information they obviously have no chance at getting. And we used to try and do a couple things at a couple websites about like the bat phone or insider, whatever. And it just never really went over well. But if I can control it myself and have it every Friday, I think it could work. So I'm not going to obviously take you through the entire newsletter right now, but I have a post in the draft right now that I'm pretty proud of. And this will come out every Friday morning about 8 o'clock Eastern. And this is where you sign up if you're watching on YouTube and X. The tweet is pinned on both of my Twitter pages at SP Shoot and at chickenxdinner. All you do is you pop your email in right here, ryankramer@gmail.com. I don't think that's a real email address. And you hit subscribe, and it will hook you up. So in this newsletter tomorrow, here are some of the things we're talking about. There's a quarterback injury right now in college where there was a quarterback in a boot earlier this week. We're going to share an update on that. I've got quotes from Vegas about Texas and Ohio State. These guys need Ohio State. Everybody's betting Texas. And I got some quotes in there about the way the action's coming in. And it's good stuff from two guys that I really, really love out of Vegas. I've got a sharp report, break down Notre Dame's defense against Miami's offense. We got some FCS stuff in there. And then I do give some plays. But it's stuff that I think the average person wouldn't be able to get. I spent a long time in Vegas. I go to Vegas all the time. I've networked extremely well. And I want to share the things that I'm hearing with you. And it's free. If you don't like it, you don't have to subscribe. But I think, getting this ability to connect with the people who have been booking bets for decades and understanding what they're hearing and what they need. And injuries are a huge deal. Injuries for me are everything. And now I'm hearing that DraftKings is going to start voiding bets if you have information. That's why I don't bet at DraftKings unless I'm stuffing a kiosk up in New Hampshire. I couldn't believe that. I don't know if you saw that story. DraftKings is now going to come out, and if you have a bet that's good, say you lay 6 and the other team's quarterback gets ruled out and the line goes to 10, DraftKings is claiming that they could cancel that bet at -6. I know it's only one book right now, but if that catches on, people are going to be very unhappy. If that first domino hits the second domino, and now FanDuel's doing it, and BetMGM is doing it, and Caesars is doing it, and Bet365 is doing it, and we can't work hard to find information and make bets that are going to be honored, makes it even harder for the customer. So we'll follow that trend. But before we do anything else, let's bring in the hosts of the Sports Gambling Podcast. In the house, Ryan Kramer, Sean Green. What's up?
What's happening? I'm just laughing at how close you came to exactly guessing Ryan's personal email. I've
been around computers for a while, so I almost did have Ryan Kramer at gmail.com.
Very
nice
close,
work.
very close, but good work. What's happening, man? Thanks for having us.
I'm excited because the last time we did this, I feel like we made some money together, and I'm not going to take my victory lap, but we made a good bet last year. And
Barkley,
I feel
offensive player of the year. Yeah,
it was
nice job.
And you were so excited when I said that because I think you had no. Actually, I take that back. You guys had tuxedos on during this interview. Yes. You didn't have your Eagle stuff on. That was before Bet Bash dinner, right?
Yep.
And we were sitting there talking about Philly because nobody liked Philly. Philly had just had this really bad second half of the season. Defensively, they were a mess. They had to go out and get Vic Fangio. People weren't sure about that. But the Eagles were 7-8 to 1 to win the NFC, and Barkley was 25-1 to win the Offensive Player of the Year. Now they're favored to win the NFC, and he's favored to win the OPLY. It's funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, no, what a difference a year makes. Obviously, Fangio, they got great contributions from both their rookies, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, Zach Bond, basically a free agent off the street in the mix there for Defensive Player of the Year. So, yeah, everything broke right for the defense, and then Barkley having a career year. Jalen Hurts just continues to be a guy who wins games. I know that doesn't matter to apparently a lot of fans online, but I like when my quarterback wins games. I think quarterbacks are valuable. So yeah, it's coming off a great season, Super Bowl 59 champs, and looking forward to opening it up Thursday night against a Micah Parsons-less Cowboys team.
That's got to feel good. Kramer, don't tell Sean that I'm actually not buying Philly stock this year, unfortunately, though. Like, you can't. Like, when they're favored, that's no fun, right?
Certainly the Saquon usage stuff last year is a little concerning. Certainly his inability to play full seasons, to deal with nagging injuries. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm with you. I mean, I guess at this point famously predicted the Eagles would go 9-8.
Yes.
And it was very hot. It was very hot in the studio and on the internet after that prediction. But yeah, I think a couple small steps back. I think they're still a playoff team. Roster's good enough, but I'm with you. I think you're either selling or you're passing this year.
So I asked the chat, and I got a couple of these in here we'll get to in a second. I asked, it's very difficult to kind of whittle down a list, and you guys like the fire, right? You like making bets. You guys are
Yes.
making first touchdown bets. You guys are firing. But if I had to ask you right now, Sean, you can go first. Your favorite NFL future bet that you've made and you're ecstatic about, and you really believe that it's got a chance to win. What is it?
Let's see. Well, I would say let's go to the win total market. I'll give you an alt under on the Minnesota Vikings under 8.5 wins. I just because I saw that you love their defense. To me, it's a fade of JJ McCarthy, this quarterback who is a rookie. And Sam, I know their defense might be good, but man, first off, now they got to face the Packers with Micah Parsons. A little worried about that offensive line. And really, for me, it is the Vikings and those first 5 games for a rookie quarterback. You go at the Bears on the road Monday night. Then you have a Sunday night game, prime time. And then your first normal time game for a rookie quarterback is at home against the Bengals, and then back-to-back games in Europe. So I just think this Vikings team could get off to a rough start. They exceeded their win total Pythag by a crazy amount, 9-1 and 1-score games, turnover differential, all the red flags for regression. And yeah, it's baked into the line a little bit, but in the same way we saw this paper tiger Vikings team when they were 13-4 with Kirk Cousins, they lost at home to Danny Dimes in the playoffs. I kind of see a similar progression for this Vikings team this year. So I think there's too much being put on this quarterback. Maybe it's just because I follow Thor, who I like his stuff, but he's already at the wedding chapel with JJ McCarthy there. I think pump the brakes on JJ McCarthy. I think he's going to be a good prospect, but year one, I think he could struggle. So I'm fading the Vikings.
And with that, we're out of time. Well, thanks for joining us, Ryan and Sean from the Sports Gambling Podcast. Is that really your favorite future bet?
Well, I had to mention it because I saw it when you tweeted it out, or there was something of like talking you out of the Vikings. So I wanted to start there. Another one I really like. Let's see. We'll go to the Colts under 7.5 wins. I mean, I am not alone here in the idea of fading this Indianapolis Colts team. I watched Daniel Jones for a long time. Who's gotten a bigger upgrade as a quarterback from not playing than Daniel Jones? They ran him out of town for Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito is now selling cutlets up in Foxborough. I don't understand how he went from that. Then he went to the Vikings, didn't play, and then went to the Colts, where it's not like he dominated that quarterback battle. If you watched any of those preseason games, he won by default, as Homer Simpson said, 2 greatest words in the English dictionary, default. I don't see this Colts team. At some point, the quarterback does matter. And Daniel Jones, I love having an under on Daniel Jones, 7.5 wins. And I think there's a low floor for this Colts team too. So you can play most losses as well, I think is a good future bet.
Kramer, same question to you. Favorite future?
It really is fun to take the most losses or least wins for the Colts. I'll go right to my Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh,
I've been jagging off all off season. The NFL slot machine at the Circa has hand paid me 4 separate times. It has been spoken. Liam Cohen, coach of the year. I smashed this at 12-1. It went up to 14-1. I got some more of it. I just think the floor was so low last year. When the offense gets fixed this year by Liam Cohen, it's going to allow this team to look pretty good in a bad division. They could pretty easily win the division. The division price is around 3-1. Why not take 12, 11, 13, 14-1 on the coach of the year price? I'm pretty sure if they win the division, he's getting that award, short of, I think, Ben Johnson, maybe Vrabel, or the 2 Godfather guys you have to miss. But yeah, I'm in on the Jags. I do think this is the best way to get after it. I have some other crazier Jags bet, but this is like my big bet way too much money invested and gonna feel silly when it loses, but the slot machine told me to do it.
So you took the slot machine money and just funneled it right back into the casino.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah, someone who hangs out with Ryan. There's a direct pipeline from the slot machine up to the teller.
Well, and as a gambler, there is something about taking that profit and immediately sinking it into some NFL futures. And so that's kind of my investment strategy. Paid off well between that and the craps table last week. Paid for the contest entries too. So feeling good right now.
I love that. I love that. I love that you won, and I love that you put it right back in. All right, so let me react first of all to that moronic take about the Vikings. Okay,
let's go.
Their defense was outstanding last year, and they added 3 starters that were better than the guys that they replaced. And now, I mean, who are you going to double team? You got Jonathan Allen and Hargrave up front, and then if those guys can get work, you bring Van Ginkel and Grenard off the edge. You signed Rodgers from Philly. I know he wasn't your best corner, but he's still a very, very good player in the NFL. Brian Flores is going to have so much fun dialing up pressure. I know you have issues with McCarthy, and
yeah,
fine. I'm going to ignore that part of the conversation. I'm looking at that defense, though. I think they're a top 3 defense in the NFL, and I dare teams to try and score on them up and down the field for 4 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, I think their defense is going to be pretty solid, but I just worry about the turnover differential, and you're bringing what I believe to be a rookie quarterback. Now, Vikings fans will dispute me and say he played the season virtually last year. I just think a guy like JJ McCarthy, who what I do think is a positive trait for him is he's not going to hold on to the ball. He's going to throw it. And I think if you take away that turnover differential that they were working with there and Sam Darnold having a career year, now you throw in to me, it's more just a fate of the offense. Like Justin Jefferson not building any chemistry in preseason with JJ McCarthy, Addison missing the first 3 games, the team deciding that they needed Adam Thielen back in the flock there. So yeah, that I don't think their defense is going to be bad, but I think the travel schedule is really tough. And you look at their win totals, schedule 5th hardest in the league, and then the positive 10 turnover differential. I think that's the stuff that's going to break wrong for them.
Oh, I like this.
But the roster and Flores is good. I totally concede that.
JJ McCarthy was 27-1 in college, ended Nick Saban's coaching career, and won a national championship. And you're throwing salt on my guy.
And we hung out with his dad. And he was very cool.
His dad was really cool. I think he's going to be a good prospect. They're just, I mean, people are going, well, yeah, he's going to be better than Sam Darnold. Well, yeah, maybe in his career, but Sam Darnold had the best year for Sam Darnold by a wide margin, and he's been playing in the league for a long time. And I get it. Kevin O'Connell is a good OC, and he won a couple of games with Josh Dobbs. I just think setting this win total at 9.5 is incredibly high, especially considering how they outperformed, all their numbers last year.
I understand. I'm not going over 9.5 for the record. I bet the price on them, even money to make the playoffs. Kramer, I think they're a top 7 team in the NFC, and I'm going to stop there. I'm not saying conference. I'm not saying Super Bowl. That roster, 53 man, is a top 7 roster in the NFC, I think. What do you think, Kramer?
They also have the spaceship, which is an underrated home edge.
Good home edge.
The way that I would, because I do think I'm with you. I think there's a number of teams in the league this year, a couple in the NFC, where the defense creates this floor where it's hard to be too south on them. But my angle, if I was going to fade them, would be take the under for the points. I do think they could end up being a little bit more of a smash mouth team this year, a little bit more possession. To your point, the defense is going to be really good. They still have their points at 390.5. But I'm with you. I think they're going to be right. There's going to be a whole bunch of teams in the NFC right in that 7, 8, 9 win range. And I certainly think the Vikings are one. I think their whole division is probably in that range.
I love this from Trip. So I asked people to share their favorite future bet. Tripp says ladder bet the Dolphins alt win totals. And I'm guessing he means under because he adds Miami could really stink. Look, if Tua isn't out there, this is a disaster of a team.
Their coach is leading the odds right now and first coach fired. So it makes sense in that way. Sean and I were really interested in the the bull case, like awards market stuff for the Dolphins, because it's equally as interesting. You could argue the Dolphins have some of the highest expected variance. I mean, they could be a 2-win team, I feel like, and they could easily be a playoff team winning 9 or 10 games if Tua stays healthy and all the storm kind of the dust settles.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I'm playing the Dolphins, I'm going alt one way or another. If I like them, I'm probably looking for, I know Sean very sharp picked up a Jalen Waddle 600 to 1 offensive player of the year ticket.
That was I had a couple extra bucks kicking around, but yeah, no, I think, and especially if they end up trading Tyreek Hill, maybe they're at 600 to 1 for Jalen Waddle felt crazy.
But on the same token, if you're taking the under, play it all the way down. Play at least wins or most losses too, because if things go south, we've already seen it. Maybe they don't respect the coach in Miami. Maybe there is stuff leaking out about that.
Mike McDaniel with some very goth-like statements saying we're one day closer to death.
No, he said the full quote. If you zoom it out, he was happy.
Yeah.
The reporter said, "Why are you so happy?" And he said, "Because I'm one day closer to death."
Doesn't sound like a guy who's going to go on a run, but. But when he has had Tua and they're playing non-playoff teams, they've been pretty good at winning games. I don't feel great about their defense, but Achane looks to be he looks to be healthy there week 1. That's Achane, Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Tua being healthy is a formula that can win them some games. Now, for how long, who knows? But you look at the first 8 games, I think only 2 of them are playoff teams. So they start off on an easy path. It's tough to say it's going to totally last. And I think a lot of people are smelling out like a very combustible situation. So I understand fading them.
And all of that being said, I think we might end up with one of our Circa Survivor entries on the Dolphins week 1.
So. Just fading
really?
the Colts. Yes. What do you want? Because I think we're going to play 2 entries. One, probably keep it chalky with the Broncos at home against a rookie quarterback. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be on the Broncos, but like we saw last year, maybe we get some of those upsets. Maybe Kramer's Giants can knock out the Commanders. Maybe people are still, looking for some more pain courtesy of the Cleveland Browns against the Bengals there. The Dolphins, I know it's crazy, but you have to go back to 2013, the last time the Colts won a home opener. Is that related? I'll just look at Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones' record as a starter is not very good. And if Daniel Jones is going to knock us out of Survivor week 1, so be it. I think it's kind of an onions play here. And also when we mapped out the Survivor, there's not a lot of other places you would look to play Miami. So that's kind of the logic there.
I love this because I am trying to convince one of my entries. I'm actually a part of 3, but I kind of screwed myself because I have a partner for 2 and then I'm a triplet in a 3rd entry. So I'm going to be all over the place, but I'm trying to convince one of my entries to take the Raiders over the Patriots.
Oh, let's go.
1.
Now we're talking.
If I hear one more person, I'm on props here by mistake. Didn't even mean to do that. So Patriots 2.5, 3 at home. I can't do it. I can't get there. They're everybody's sleeper, 10 wins, make the playoffs. Adam Schefter was on TV the other day. They could be a lot better this year. I'm like, oh my God. They won 4 games last year and now they're a 10-win team. I want to take that shot though. Week 1. I want to take them out week 1. I'm sick.
I'm 100% with you. They're another team I'm looking to fade, the Pats, because it's all market hype. Yeah. Do I like Vrabel? Sure. But do I like a rookie left guard and left tackle protecting Drake May's blindside? No. And Drake May was 1-9 as the starter when they threw double digits, essentially like the 10 games he played a full game. One of those 4 wins was courtesy of Joe Milton. So let's not pretend like even the 4 wins and the other one of them was Jacoby Brissett. So I think this roster has a lot of work to be done, and I like the reset for the Pats long term with Vrabel, but I think they're a year away from being a competitive team.
It's like kind of an additional bolt on to my Liam Cohen handicap too. When the chalk is Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel, 2 teams that seem to be incredibly overrated in the look ahead market. It's another way to kind of inadvertently fade them. So yeah, I'm with you. I love the Raiders are one of my favorite play. Like that's probably going to could be on our circa million card week 1 for sure.
Oh, it has to make the 5. That's
Yeah.
easily one of the 5, right?
I'm like right now, I not to pull back the curtain all the way, but I've been looking closely at the Raiders, the Seahawks, and the Browns.
Max Crosby against that offensive line. Sign me up. Let's go. I mean,
they're only starting 2 rookies on the O line, by the way.
Oh, and it's the left guard and left tackle. The left tackle who people weren't 100% he was a left tackle because of how short his arms are. But yeah, no worry there. But they're a playoff team.
Max Crosby has like the longest arms in the league.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
My guy Grenard in Minnesota. They did the co-op. It was the Patriots and the Vikings. They put Campbell on Grenard. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare for New England. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what that second-year quarterback needs. Learning another new offense with a rookie backside. Like your blind side is all young.
Yeah, it's not good.
Great reason to fade him. Yeah, I'm with you on the under there. And week 1, I can't see myself on the Pats, especially as a favorite.
I mean, to think Will Campbell went right after Abdul Carter. The difference in talent there is unbelievable.
Can Jackson Dart, Kramer, can he get him over the win total?
I mean, Sean and I have had this conversation. I don't necessarily believe they're going to look that bad with Russ. And so I wonder how long it's going to be till Jackson Dart comes out. Now, I will say as a Giants fan, the confidence knowing that the next quarterback will be, I would say at worst the same, if not better at that point in the season. I have every piece of this team. So you're asking the wrong person. I grabbed the 35-1 opener for the division out at the Circa. I have them to make the playoffs. They're obviously going over this win total. I mean, you mentioned your Vikings with a defensive floor brings. The Giants quietly are going to have, not quietly, but the whole defense has been vastly improved. To the point where like their cornerback 1 last year is not going to play to start the season, I think, and they're going to be a better team. Obviously, Abdul Carter, and yeah, I think when the offense comes out and they're able to block it up, the offensive line has looked very good in the preseason. But even last year under Carmen Priscilla, they were much improved versus the Bobby Johnson version. So yeah, I think the moon ball is coming back, and I think Malik Neighbors is going to have a ridiculous stats year. So him offensive player of the year, him most receiving yards, 13-1, however you want to play it.
I went to the book at Circa and I asked them if they would make me a market. I was shut down. They said no, but I said, why don't you hang a yes, no on will the Giants beat the Eagles or the Commanders once?
Oh, that's easy.
I would take the yes.
They last year was such an outlier with the Commanders. I mean, we remember those games. The first game, Commanders didn't even score a touchdown, 21-18. The Giants had the ridiculous kicking injury situation. They don't usually lose to the Commanders, the football team, or the Redskins. So I would take that bet in a heartbeat. The Eagles, maybe a little tough. They've had a tougher track record recently against them, but the Commanders, they'll find a way to win one, if not both of those games.
It's the NFL. Jameis beat the Ravens last year.
Yeah.
It just, I don't want to hear it. Anything could happen for the most part. CT is saying he likes the Commies win total under. I wanted to get to a couple other bets here. Ooh, I like this one from Mike. San Francisco to win the division and win a playoff game. Thoughts on the Niners? They're very polarizing this year, guys.
Isn't the trend that if they get in, they get all the way to the conference championship game or bust?
Yeah, they either make it to the conference championship game or they don't make the playoffs at all. San Francisco's weird for me because I've been a longtime hater of them the past few years. But when we were doing our team previews and walking through the games and looking at the division, especially, I kind of just ended up with San Francisco to win the division because of the questions with Stafford and the back. I'm not a believer in Kyler Murray. I'm a little skeptical of Sam Darnold and revamping the offense and going to this smash mouth game plan that they're planning to do in Seattle there. So I kind of just ended up with San Francisco by default a little bit in the NFC West. And I think they, them winning a playoff game, certainly a possibility. I love, you want to talk about props, fantasy stuff. Ricky Pearsall, I think could have a really good year for them. And you look at the offense, I think they should be able to move the ball. The defense, a little bit of questions, but I think you can at least solve some of those with bringing back Saleh. I think he is more certainly a defensive coordinator, not a head coach. So yeah, 49ers, especially with the Stafford back stuff, I think 49ers are going to end up winning the NFC West.
Their schedule is so easy.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing a lot of the same thing. They don't have any receivers, which isn't entirely true. They have a couple that are decent, but they're hurt right now. Ayuk will be back. Is this not the year where they just, assuming he stays on the field, streamline McCaffrey to my veins? I mean, 400 touches if he stays healthy. I was in Vegas, as you guys know. I was betting the 25s everywhere I could find. It's so funny because last summer, Barkley was 25, McCaffrey was 6. This summer, it's McCaffrey who's 25 and Barkley is 6. And I don't think the math is mathing, guys.
Well, no, I mean,
and the year before that when he won, he was 20-25.
Yeah, no.
So
and we were, I had him for MVP 2 years ago, and almost it was like
Great
him
bet.
and Purdy, and then
bet.
Purdy threw those picks, and then he got banged up, and Lamar ended up stealing it. But that was like the closest I think we've ever been in recent times to a running back winning the MVP. My formula for offensive player of the year is, hey, this guy is going to win you your fantasy league. Like that's the type of player, because they don't want to give it to the quarterback. It's going to be the skill player, the running back receiver who has the best year. And to your point, he is going to get a just an insane amount of touches if he's out there, and he should still be pretty efficient. So yeah, the case for him at 25-1 at that price makes a ton of sense.
It's really, for me, become the guy that's mispriced in the 20-1 range. In 22, so I've been very lucky in this market. In 22, we bet Jefferson, and he was like 20-1, 22-1, and he wins it in 22. In 23, I had Tyreek, who had an unbelievable season, and then he got hurt. Remember, he got hurt against the Titans on Monday night.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was in the 15, 18-1 range. And then last year I did Barkley. This year I'm McCaffrey guy. I am a little nervous though, Kramer. Like if he can't stay on the field, that's obviously not a winning bet, but I'm hearing good things. Maybe I talk to Katie Mox too much, but I'm hearing good things.
Oh yeah. He's just, as long as he gets to go over to Germany a couple times to visit the Mercedes lab and get whatever compound strapped onto his Achilles,
get the Kobe treatment.
Here's what I mean, it does seem like, I'm not a doctor, not a medical professional, but it does seem like his injuries are the kind that maybe would come back. And, I've heard everyone who's seen him train, and they're like, he's different. He was the only running back to make it through training camp for the Niners healthy. Yeah. I mean, he's clearly missed, even in fantasy, right? Like he's going at the end of the first round, basically. Probably similarly mispriced as to the offensive player of the year market. I just can't do it. Can't do it with these old guys. Sorry.
No, it's
I
fine.
like the logic though. I like
fine.
the logic.
I mean, if you don't like it, you don't have to say that. It's fine. I'm
well,
getting
no,
shit.
I like it, but I don't like it, on
McCaffrey. Look, but here's my point. If McCaffrey was 8-1, I would never bet it.
No,
if he was 14-1, I would never bet it. I got the same pushback last year on Barkley. Barkley. Wow, Barkley stuck with the Giants, and you're like, okay, well now he's behind a really good line on a really good team, and they paid him handsomely. They're going to use him. I feel the same way about usage. Like that's all it is. It's a great price, and I think they're going to use him. We have some opposition here, which I always welcome. Chad is saying he likes the Seahawks to win the NFC West. At least he's saying there's value there, plus 550. He says that the takes that come out around the team are awful, and that it's painful to listen to people talk about the Seahawks when they know nothing about them. So I don't know what you're going to get from Darnold there. And I think that's fair. I don't think they're a bad football team, but I do wonder about their offense. Defensively, I was really impressed with their secondary last year.
Yeah.
They got banged up. I remember the game they played the Lions. It was like 42-38. It was like nobody could stop anybody. And that was when they had multiple guys out. But I think McDonald is a very good defensive coach. I don't think they're going to win any beauty pageants, and that's okay. But that's a tough place to win. and the weather and the wind is always an issue there. It's never an easy place to win. I don't know that I could put my money on Sam Darnold, but I'm not like knocking on the table to bet the under on Seattle.
Yeah, no, especially because I think with the Rams and Stafford, the division feels somewhat wide open. And if you're saying like, hey, the fourth place price to win that division, I understand making the case for them. The smash mouth that they're planning on running. If Kenneth Walker, his health is a big part of that team. Will they miss DK Metcalf? Can JSN kind of take the next step up there? It's going to come down to, what their turnovers look like. If they have a good turnover differential, if the ball bounces their way and they win some of these close NFC West games, yeah, at the price, I see what he's saying. And I'm sure if I was a Seahawks fan, I could talk myself into it. I'm with you. I'm a little scared off of Darnold coming off a career year and then going outdoors without Justin Jefferson or Kevin O'Connell calling up the offense. That to me is the red flag. But at the price, I'm not super high on the Cardinals, and then the Rams and Stafford is such an easy thing to fade.
What is it Simmons used to call the Pacific Northwest fans, the soccer moms?
Yeah.
You can't have a take about the Seahawks without getting someone upset. I think the defense is similar. Well, at least the coach feels like he's rebuilt the defense. It looks that way. I think the defense gives them a floor once again. The problem is the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Clint Kubiak, come on. What are we doing here? We're closing our eyes and pretending like he didn't have the season he had last year. Now, I kind of want to see him. I kind of think this team could come out and surprise week 1. And, maybe that's the time to bet the Niners after they lose to the Seahawks, because Clint Kubiak comes out with some dynamic attack and no one's ready for it. And just like last year by the way, Clint Kubiak's team last year, 91 points in the first 2 weeks. They only scored, I think it was 220 something the rest of the way. It's just, I don't get when we move Daniel Jones, similar but different, but I don't get when we move a thing that we know what that thing is to a new setup and we try to convince ourselves things are going to be too different. So yeah, defense will be good. I think the defense will prevent them from being a bad team. But I also think the offense probably prevents them from being a really good team.
High floor.
The
low price. Ceiling. I mean, if you can find plus 550 to win the West, that is pretty crazy. Because I see a lot of 5 and 5 1/4. It's high. They were 11th last year on defense in points allowed, 14th in yards, and again, that was a lot of issues they had to deal with in the secondary. But if you line up their secondary, I mean, you throw out, Kobe Bryant, Julian Love. I like Reek Wolin. We'll see what you get from Witherspoon this year. I really like him. So secondary wise, they're good. And that's really what McDonald has thrived around, when he has a solid secondary and then he kind of builds forward from there. We'll see. I think the path is there. McCaffrey gets hurt. Stafford doesn't play. And then Call of Duty comes out in October, right? So Kyler's cooked at that point.
He's in trouble.
As Kyler's representative on the show,
he's a big Kyler guy.
He has matured. He has matured this year, and it's not going to be a problem.
Can he see over the offensive line yet?
He's working on it. It's all about that trajectory and the defense.
Man,
go ahead, Sean.
That interception he threw in preseason, I watched that so many times, and I'm just dying laughing. And anytime I want to be positive on the Cardinals, that does come back to haunt me. I think so. Kramer's loving the Cardinals. I don't see it. So,
is there a bet that you want to make that you've maybe done the research on, done the diligence, you get to the app and you just can't place it? Is there a bet that's on the cusp of being made that hasn't been made yet?
Trevor Lawrence MVP. I know it's so ridiculous. It's 66-1 at the Circa right now. I keep telling myself I'm in on the Jags. I'm on the Jag wagon. I'm jagging off. I got to take the MVP, and I can't do it because of how silly it's going to be in hindsight if it's not right.
What about you, Sean?
Geez, let's see.
You say something Vikings anti, you're out.
Well, I
pivot to your other hate.
I guess I would say I already placed a bet on this, and I want to bet more, and I'm hesitating betting more on this because the odds are so crazy. But I think the path is way shorter. Xavier Worthy, Offensive Player of the Year. I bet it before the Rashee Rice suspension stuff came out at 125-1. I haven't seen if it moved much So I'll pull back the curtain. I wanted to bet Xavier Worthy Offensive Player of the Year. I got drunk and accidentally bet Rashee Rice Offensive Player of the Year because I'm an old guy now, and I mixed up my Kansas City receivers. So then I did end up betting Xavier Worthy Offensive Player of the Year, but it's kind of a push because I already bet Rashee Rice. So now I'm on the fence about actually placing a real size wager on Xavier Worthy. I mean, I just look at a guy who you mentioned, Tyreek Hill winning Offensive Player of the Year, or who's on track and having a great year. Just this young receiver who has a chance to break out year 2 in an Andy Reid offense with Patrick Mahomes, who is dying to let the deep ball rip once again. Oh man, to me there is a path, and granted it was in garbage time, but he looked pretty good in the Super Bowl there late, racking up some points against my Eagles there and a bunch of yards. 125-1. Man, I could just talk myself into that, but then I go, well, it's 125-1. There's so many other good skill players out there that are going to beat him out. The market knows something. You're crazy. It's 125-1, but if they really start ripping it down the field, Kelsey, how much does he have left? Rashee Rice missing the first 6 games. Someone could really pop in this Chiefs offense, and he's priced like, I would just say compare his week 1 props to other guys in the Offensive Player of the Year market, and he's being priced like a guy, like Malik Neighbors almost in some of the yards and catches and stuff like that. And Malik Neighbors is what, 35-1 Offensive Player of the Year. So that's kind of my thing I've been debating in my head. How much more, if any, to add on to Xavier Worthy at 125-1?
It's so wild how we get there with a price. Do you like Xavier Worthy? Nah. 125-1. Wow, I should dabble. Well, I mean, why not?
A little action.
There are only 4 players, guys, that have shorter odds than Jaden Daniels for MVP. And I don't think that's right. I'm not saying like bet anti-Commander stuff, because I'm not really there either. But when you line up most sports books and see Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow, Jaden Daniels on line 5, is that right?
No, not by a wide. This is blowing. This has legit. The drunkenness over Shador and all that stuff, I guess, is kind of taking it to another level. But the drunkenness over Jaden Daniels is wild. We see this all the time. First of all, where a quarterback comes in the league really good. Now, Jaden Daniels was really, really, really good. And after you get those 16, 20 games of tape, defenses start to play him a little differently. You add in the fact that some of the success last year was lucky, things that tend to regress. And I don't see this going very differently than CJ Stroud year 2, where, you have an offensive line with a million questions. You have an offense that, are we really that enthralled by the skill positions on the Washington Commanders? And the entire team is thin. They're old and they're thin. They lack depth. And so this could be a team that needs to shoot out to win games. And I think if that's the case, their offensive line ends up breaking down. So yeah, maybe I've talked myself into a weird way where if this team is good, it's because of Jaden Daniels. I just think there's too many paths to them not being good, too many paths to them being even below average. And I think the idea that Jaden Daniels puts too much on his shoulders, ends up taking an extra hit or two. I mean, the idea that he took a hit in the preseason is insane. I know it's extrapolating a little bit to say he's going to take bad hits in the regular season, but I think he might. And guess what? Week 1, Giants, Commanders, Giants going against former offensive line coach Bobby Johnson, who they know is trash, now dealing with some old broken parts. That's going to be a really good test for this Jaden Daniels led Commanders team. But yeah, I think I could probably name 10 quarterbacks who I think have a better chance to win the MVP award.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm low on the Commanders.
My take on Jaden Daniels, I think Jaden Daniels is very good. I'm just worried the team around him, he's not going to have enough wins to get to the MVP. is kind of my take, right? Because for me to win MVP, you got to be the quarterback and the number 1 or 2 seed in your conference. And I think the stuff around Jaden Daniels, as Kramer said, they're the oldest roster in the league, and there's the oldest roster since like you got to go back like 12 years. This Eagles beat reporter I follow, Jimmy Kemsky, follows like the roster age. They're a very old team, and you look at some of the regression stuff, winning off Hail Marys, stuff like that. Everything broke their way. Year 2 of not only Jaden Daniels, but for me, it's I have a feeling they're going to figure out some ways to attack a Cliff Kingsbury offense. I'm skeptical a little bit about the offensive line, and the defense, I think, has seriously had some issues over the years. So I think for them to get to that 12, 13 wins that you need to win MVP, that's going to be tough. I think Jaden Daniels is pretty good. I think he has a thin frame that if he continues to run like he did, that's the other thing. Like, he was a huge portion percentage wise of their running game. So he's either going to have to continue running at that, or Bill Krosky, Merritt, and Chris Rodriguez and Austin Eckler are going to have to figure it out. So I guess I'm more skeptical what stuff around Jaden Daniels than Jaden Daniels himself. I think Jaden Daniels is very good, but I just don't think he gets there MVP wise.
I love that you brought up the frame. Did you guys see the tweet that?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Rossini is thicker than Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
It's like,
it's a green bean out there.
I mean, the picture didn't lie. He's on spaghetti legs.
Yeah. Well, as someone who grew up in Jersey, I think Diana's a Jersey girl, so I'm pretty. She could probably handle herself. Handle herself in a little one-on-one Oklahoma drill with them too.
Low man wins.
Was damning. I love my guys here. So this is Taking Shots, who is with me, by the way, on Cal Under in college football 5.5. They're watching Chicken Dinner, but they're also, I think, on a second screen, or maybe they're watching TV on mute, watching the USF Boise game, where Boise was a 9-point favorite, 9.5-point favorite on the open, got bet all the way down to like 5. And now South Florida did a fake punt to go up 10. Boise is on the ropes here. And Cadillac John adding, that was a funny fake. I did not see it, unfortunately. And then Tripp adding in, Boise losing would leave the group of 5 to make the CFP market wide open. I think we should be betting more Toledo boys and girls to make the playoff at 11-1. Yeah, I think it's very possible. I have to ask about the Bears because, you know, I'm from there, and my Bears group thread send me everything positive about Ben Johnson. I don't know, man. Like, I think there's a lot to like with Ben, obviously, but he also had really good players and an outstanding offensive line in Detroit. So I know better when the Bears hype is hyping. And I think the bookmakers and the bettors are treating the Bears completely differently. People are betting the over. You know, the public is betting the over. And yet here are the bookmakers pushing the juice to the under and pushing the Bears out to now 6-1, 6.25 to win the division. Now, the Parsons addition to the division obviously hurts the Bears, but you guys aren't Bears guys. You're not like Chicago guys. Like, what's the unbiased, normal take on Chicago from afar?
Yeah, I mean, I would say let's look at what they did last year. I mean, 5-12. But then again, going back to teams that the regression hit them the wrong way, right? They were 5-12. They were on the opposite end of that Hail Mary. They lost 10 games in a row with some horrible coaching. I'll be honest, like hearing that stuff of, oh, he's yelling at a bunch of the guys in practice and he's making them do all this stuff over again. It's a disaster. As an outsider, I took that as a positive side. I'm like, someone needed to put a foot up this Bears team's ass because they do have some talent. And I do think they have a good head coach now. I don't think they have a crazy high ceiling. But I think they're gonna, I would say I like their win total over slightly. I'm not like, they're not one of my like crazy surprise teams. I think them getting to 9-8 or 10-7, I think is very possible here. I like the idea that they're going to put Caleb Williams under center. They're dealing with some injuries already at the running back position. So I haven't felt in the gambling community them getting a ton of hype. I understand now the Bears also kind of, for me, fall in that Jets category of just like perpetually kind of cursed franchises, so that if if the optimism gets too high, I raise some red flags. But I think similar. I kind of have them in a similar space as the Jets this year, where I'm not raising the flag saying like winning the division, especially with the Jets, but I do think they're going to slightly exceed expectations. I don't think they're going to go on a crazy run, but them sneaking into the playoffs as a wild card, I don't think is crazy.
I mean, I actually have a crazy kind of narrative parallel. You have the draft class that featured Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. Before a couple years before that, you had C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. Right? C.J. Stroud comes out, has a great year, defensive-minded head coach, genius system proprietor, and Bobby Slowick. Well, Dan Quinn, Kingsbury, similar vibe there. They blow up, right? But the other guy, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, they have these dreadful seasons in toxic environments. And then they go out and they get a structure first offensive minded head coach that is given some credit to the idea of being able to keep and rehab quarterbacks in structure. That you then see the second year for a guy like Bryce Young. And all of a sudden we're saying, is CJ Stroud that much better than Bryce Young? Or maybe I'm saying that, not everyone else is. I think we might be having a similar conversation about Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels at the end of the year, but I don't know if the Bears necessarily have a ton of wins to reflect that. So yeah, could this team end up being like a 7-8 win team, but we're now optimistic about Caleb Williams because he's starting to look like an NFL quarterback? To me, that's the best possible outcome for the Bears. I think the hype about them like having success right now, I'll save that for my New York Football Giants. That they're more of a win now team. But yeah, no, I think the Bears, you have to be excited. They have so much talent. They just have what you have to assume is a better situation around Caleb. So I guess we'll find out how good Caleb Williams is this year.
Well, and just one more point here. And Kramer was the one who brought this up. He goes, it's crazy that people think JJ McCarthy is going to hit the ground running and be way better than Caleb Williams, where if you said that last year, that would have been like a crazy hot take to say JJ McCarthy is going to be better than Caleb Williams. But all we've seen from Caleb Williams is, hey, it was his rookie year. He struggled. He held on to the ball too long, made some rookie mistakes, dealt with a bad coach. Now he's getting a reset. Whereas JJ McCarthy didn't play at all and had to deal with, a major knee surgery. So I think it's interesting that the cynics on Caleb Williams are projecting no growth, but a lot of optimism to a guy like JJ McCarthy, who we haven't seen.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah. But to me, I think I'm not ready to give up on Caleb Williams being a good quarterback in the NFL. And I do think Ben Johnson is a good head coach, and look what he did. He took care of the Vikings with the Lions. Now, certainly a much better team, as you pointed out, but going to be interesting as home dogs there week 1, Monday night. Excited for that game.
Shout out Frankie in the chat. Loving the football talk on Chicken Dinner. I think it's very simple for Chicago this year. You just have to know if he's your guy at quarterback.
Yeah.
You have to find that out. And, it's easier to cut the cord after a couple of years than it is to kind of drag this shit on for 5 years. I mean, you need to find out. And Ben, I think Ben is the perfect guy to sort of push all those buttons. I didn't like to hear, first couple of weeks of camp, like they're learning how to break the huddle. And I'm like that. Probably not good to hear that about your team, but
I'll tell you what, though, that is good. As a coach myself, who often loves to judge professional and college coaches for not being serious, that's an area that I find to be a sign of a really good coach. You're practicing everything. This is the way we break the huddle. This is the way you do this, and we're going to practice. It's like the Jimmy V, right? We're going to practice cutting down the nets, and that's good coaching. So I actually, while it was easy to laugh at that, I actually saw that and was like, this is maybe a good sign for Ben Johnson, that we're hearing about this kind of stuff and that he's willing to put it out in the open. Like, yeah, I'm coaching them the basics.
I did this last year, and I'm going to share this again on my screen here and talk about this bet. I love Rome Odunze, and his number on yards for the season is 200 yards higher than it was last year. So his number, we talked about this on Chicken Dinner and on Bet Sweats. His over under on yards last year was 650.5. Very low number. I was saying that's disrespect. Now they've caught up, guys, a little bit. You see 850.5 at FanDuel, 875.5 at DraftKings. I think that number is going to float up a little bit more because I'm going to talk about it on Chicago radio this weekend, probably. So you may want to pay attention. I think he is their 1,000-yard guy this year. I understand people like DJ Moore, and I keep hearing, oh, they're going to use DJ Moore a lot like St. Brown in Detroit. Fine. This is their best receiver. And I think in year 2, with an actual competent offensive mind and a play caller, Ben Johnson gets the ball to his best guys. I mean, he got the ball to Gibbs how many times last year? Got the ball to St. Brown. I don't know what Shane Waldron and Thomas Brown were doing last year. If there's one Bears bet you're looking for, got a lot of Chicago people listening to Chicken Dinner. I think Rome Odunze, and obviously get the best number, 850, 875. I think he's a 1,000-yard guy this year. And the touchdown number, honestly, is a little low too, 5.5. I got him for like 990 and 7 touchdowns. So that's sort of my sleeping giant prop-wise this year.
Love it. Love the upside of Odunze. No Keenan Allen. He's back with the Chargers there. DJ Moore. I don't know. DJ Moore seems a bit of a. I just don't. Everything you hear about Ben Johnson coming in being a hard ass, I just don't think that's gonna gel with DJ Moore. So, yeah, I think Odunze is primed to make a nice leap here in the passing game.
He's going like 3 or 4 rounds after DJ Moore in fantasy as well, which is crazy.
Yeah, I love that. Great call.
Well, he's got the size, he's got the ability, and it's a matter of getting him the ball. And Keenan Allen, I don't think Keenan Allen and Caleb Williams got along, and they clearly moved on from that. Keenan Allen's back obviously on the West Coast, but Odunze's got all the measurables, guys. I mean, he does everything that you want out of a receiver, and he's a big guy too. 6'3", 220. That's got to be a guy. The targets last year, 101. I mean, he's got to have 130 targets this year, if not more. And they're going to use him. The good thing about the Johnson offense is that a lot of times you don't see this stuff coming, right? So the schematical changes he can make and all the different formations he can use, I think they're going to get this kid the ball. So that's one of my favorite props that I haven't talked about yet on the show. I think you guys have been here almost 45 minutes now. I don't want to keep you all night, although I could. Anything else that we haven't touched on, whether it be a player, a team, some sort of a ancillary prop market, Taylor Swift wedding prop, anything that we haven't talked about that we'd like to?
Kramer, what do you got?
I mean, we touched on it, but all over Malik Neighbors. You look at what he did last year. He earned 170 targets with Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito. Converted that into a very modest 90 something catches, I believe. And if you just project a little bit more of an accurate ball, especially in the deep ball stuff, went through and watched the film. There was something like 24 deep shots from Daniel Jones to Malik Neighbors, and 19 of them were off target. And so just replace that with a Russell Wilson, a Jackson Dart, a Jameis Winston, any of that. And you look at this number, 1150.5 of the touchdowns. I've seen a lot of people talking about how that touchdown number is quite low. I actually like the yardage more. And if I'm playing him, I'm playing the ceiling. I'm playing the ladder of most receiving yards in the league, 13-1. I'm playing the ceiling outcome of offensive player of the year. He is in New York. If somehow he has one of these massive, double-digit touchdown, 1,800-yard type seasons, he's going to be in the mix. And again, I think just having those 19 passes, which again, if you had to guess, you wouldn't guess the Steelers were in the top 5 of the league last year in deep throw percentage. And so that's a lot Russell Wilson. And so even with Russ coming in, if they're converting on those deep shots, Malik Neighbors is going to get over this number easy.
I love this payout. Most receiving touchdowns at 30-1.
Oh, there you go.
That's the one right there.
I didn't even make that. I didn't even use that one. I need to get this in my repertoire, my portfolio.
On, you got all the angles. I just shout out to the Broncos. I'm high on the Broncos. I had them make it the playoffs last year, and I know they're catching a lot of becoming kind of a trendy pick. But I mean, just start with the over 9.5 wins. Sean Payton is a very good head coach. I like Bo Nix to continue to grow from what he did right year one. I like them bringing in Evan Ingram to like the RJ Harvey pick. And then you bring in, Greenlaw, Ufunga. If they get anything out of Jahade Barron, like this defense is going to be really pretty good. Very manageable schedule. I think they have a chance to win the AFC West. We talked about it when it was as high as like what 350. I get it. You're fading the Chiefs, but I think they both can be pretty strong. And so if the Broncos are going to get the number 1 seed, which I think they have a shot to do as well, look out, because I think they're going to be a tough out at home in the playoffs. I like Bo Nix, and more importantly, Sean Payton loves him, and he's really identified him as his guy. So I know if you listen to a bunch of gambling content, you probably heard people making a case for them, and maybe that scares you off, but don't overthink it. This Broncos team is going to be good this year.
I'd like to share this, and then we can say our goodbyes in a moment. This is right up your guys' alley. This is probably a guy that should listen to the Sports Gambling Podcast. This is my guy, Bobo, who listens to Bet Sweats. My favorite future I've placed is a parlay. Allen MVP, McCaffrey OPOY, 146-1.
Let's go.
That's you guys right there. That's right up your alley.
It's
Hashtag DGens only.
There's nothing better than a well-constructed parlay of. It's my favorite thing about our pregame show that we run every 9 a.m. Pacific every week before the games is just seeing the creativity of the audience and the various parlays they're able to put together. We were just over at the Westgate trying to put together some awards parlays, weren't able to make it happen, but man, there's so much fun. You only need 2 shots to get astronomical prices.
Yeah. And Bobo, I like where your head's at, like where your DGen brain is coming up with. I like the Allen MVP. I would just say also maybe play a Joe Burrow, Christian McCaffrey there, because I don't know. It's such a narrative driven market. Joe Burrow's only one comeback player of the year. I feel like they're going to kind of go out of their way to give it to him. Whereas Allen, you really have to have a very crazy good year to win back to back. I get it. Their schedule's manageable. He should be a stud again this year. There's no reason to doubt him. I would just say, and I like pairing with the Christian McCaffrey Offensive Player of the Year. Sammy made a great case for that. So just maybe also another version that has Joe Burrow and Christian McCaffrey parlay. But I love the idea of parlay in the awards market. That's very fun.
Bobo adding, he does listen all the time. These guys.
Oh, what's up, Bobo?
So
I thought I recognized the profile.
There you go. And then, we have one more since we're talking parlays here. Chad's got a week 1 parlay for us. Seahawks over the Niners. Giants over Washington. So Seahawks to win, Giants to win, plus 600, plus 610.
This is going in at the Circa when we get to there tomorrow afternoon. That 100% in on this.
Chad, did you hack our computers?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm also going to be on this because the Giants surprise in the Commanders, which would crush hopefully a lot of people in Survivor. Now, and Seahawks, I'm not officially there yet, but man, them as a home dog, that's going to be pretty intriguing. So I like where your head's at, Chad. Now, Sammy, what are you doing? I know you have 3 entries, but are you going to have any on the Commanders, the Bengals, the Broncos? Do you think where are you going, chalk? I like your idea of playing the Raiders for at least one of them, but where are you at, you think, with some of your Survivor week 1?
If I was just solo, if I did it by myself, I would 100% ship the Raiders week 1.
Yeah.
But that's not always what people want to hear. They don't want to hear an underdog in week number 1.
Geno Smith week 1 on the road's a little scary, but that's how you got to do. That's
the most
mindset.
plus EV you can be, because this is the one time that the market will be wrong. There will be games the market is 100% wrong on, and you're in Survivor. That could be massively critical.
It's also, think about this. I just thought of this on the fly. Pete Carroll revenge game.
Oh yes, totally forgot about the Pete Carroll revenge.
I love it
because that matters. Yeah, that matters a lot, right? I don't know. I like Vegas. I will probably get overruled, and then we'll end up on Washington and lose one of those right out of the gate. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this story. I did one year. There was a chance that there was going to be an overlay. This is like 3 years ago, and bear with me if you've listened to the show and you've heard it before, but I flew into Vegas with 1,000 to sign up. I was like, all right, well, I'll sign up. There's an overlay. And there actually didn't end up being an overlay because we got over the top on that Saturday. This is the day before Sunday, week 1. Flew all the way to Vegas and bet the Colts, week 1 Survivor. Colts lose to Jacksonville. I'm out. So I get knocked out right away. It was a quick trip, $1,000, take my money. And then Jacksonville proceeded to lose the rest of their games the rest of the season.
Yes.
So the only win they had all year knocked me out of Survivor week number 1.
And that's why we're fading the Colts week 1 with the Miami Dolphins, because they do that every single year.
I think I could get behind Arizona though, going against Spencer Rattler, right?
There's that, and you're only the only other time you're gonna maybe want to take Arizona is week 5. So yeah, it definitely, they're going to be I think they're going to be more popular than people think.
There's been a lot of New Orleans is a horrible team, which it's tough to counteract.
Yeah. Well, we got some time to figure it out. I can't wait to listen to the boys when we get back into the groove of it. I can't wait for my first touchdown bets.
Let's go.
You guys are always cooking up. And if you want to hear more, view more, there you go, right there. Sports Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Hell of a lot of subscribers there. 16,000, 16.5. These guys are awesome. Ryan Kramer, Sean Green. Every time I'm in Vegas and they're in Vegas, we try and get together. I got to get you guys to the wing place though. I don't think we've been there together yet.
I've seen all the photos and I'm super jealous. And I just saw you doing the giveaway. My buddy and Kramer, we know Noops, and Noops won the college football entry to the Westgate with our buddy Maddie over at Football Contest Proxy. So
definitely got to do the wing place.
Yeah, no, I've heard awesome stuff, and I'm always jealous whenever you're posting photos. I'm like, God, we got to get over there. So. Yes, let's get a wing date going for sure.
I probably won't get there until after college football season. Are you guys still going like every week?
Yep.
Yeah,
we'll be there.
Okay. Yep. Every Friday we do a VSiN show, 7:00 Pacific, and we do it out there in Vegas. Like once college basketball ends and kind of summer starts, then we just do it from our studio here. But yeah, I mean, from basically now on, football through college basketball, we'll be out there.
Awesome. Ryan Kramer, Sean Green, Sports Gambling Podcast. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Give our guys a follow and check them out on YouTube. Sports Gambling Podcast. Peace out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let it ride.
There they go. These guys are awesome, man. They just fire. They just gamble. One of us. One of us. I agree, Cadillac John. Hit the like button. Hit the thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. It helps the algorithm. We're going to be doing a lot more YouTube content this year. And I did want to circle back on the newsletter in a second, which he does talk about here, the tip sheet newsletter. But we're going to do chicken dinner. I've figured out my commute now to New York. I'm going to have to take a train down every Wednesday and then a train back every Thursday. So I think what we're going to do, because most people aren't doing anything on a Tuesday, I think we're going to do chicken dinner live on Tuesday nights. So we'll do the live show on Tuesday with the guests you know and the guests you love. And then that will give you 3 days to consume the podcast. You know, last year I really thought, let's do this Thursday night special and we'll have a bunch of fun and we'll drink a bunch of shots. And it was fun. But then I didn't want to put the podcast up Thursday night, Friday morning. And then Friday's my busiest day of the week. Friday's a disaster for me. Like, good luck getting me to do anything that isn't work related on Friday, at least until like 5, 6 o'clock. So long story short, we're going to do chicken dinner live most Tuesdays. If there's a conflict, we'll figure something out. I've gotten the green light from Corby. Corby is saying that he's in Tuesday nights. So we'll have that. And then we'll be able to podcast the show probably first thing Wednesday morning and then share clips and other videos along the way, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. John Murray back in the saddle for his weekly video. And of course, some surprises along the way. But let me pay this off here. This is the newsletter. If you want, I'll make it easier here. This is the tip sheet where you sign up right here on the Beehive landing page. All you do is type in your email. But if you want me to make it easier for you, I had a couple people asking in the chat, how do I subscribe? Just go to Chicken Dinner, and I'm going to show you visually if you're watching. All you have to do is go to Chicken Dinner, and it's the pinned tweet. It is right here, the tip sheet, right at the top of the feed. And if you do that, there you go. There's the synopsis of it. Injuries, sharp stuff, quotes, best bets every Friday morning. Just click that right there, and it'll take you through. Then you pop in your email, and you're all set. So that's about it. I do have some bets in that newsletter that come out tomorrow. I'm not going to be doing bets on Twitter this year because I just don't feel like it. And people on Twitter are, well, save my comment there. People on Twitter are lovely. They're all lovely. And you're supposed to win every game and everybody's going to love each other. Not. I love Miami Sunday night. Took 3 in the summer. And I believe we're starting to see a little bit more Notre Dame support. So we might have the ability to take some 3 again. I got a text that they did come in. Yeah, South Point has, right here on the screen, South Point has a 3. Circa has a 3. So there's a good chance you can get to 3 by Sunday night. There's a lot of Notre Dame love. Will not be me. Will not be me. I will be on the Irish. Going down. Taking the 3. Maybe some money line. That's probably my favorite bet of the week. Miami, Florida, Carson Beck. I've got Carson Beck Heisman stuff, as you all know. But that'll be in the newsletter that you will get tomorrow morning about 8:00 on the East Coast. All right. That's it for me. We've been here for about an hour and 15 minutes. And I really want to thank again Ryan Kramer, Sean Green, Sports Gambling Podcast. So we will be back next Tuesday. Corby will be here. We'll have a whole slate of college football. We'll be able to react to what we saw in week 1, play it forward to week 2. The NFL is back. And guess who else is back next week? Oh, yeah, the bartender. Bartender returns on Chicken Dinner. Cash your tickets, make some money. We'll talk to you next time right here.